Episode 9 of Dexter, New Blood doesn't just work as an episode, it feels like the beating heart of the entire season. Every choice, every look, every twist is so carefully placed that it doesn't just move the story forward, it digs into the soul of who Dexter really is. What makes this episode stand out isn't only the shocking events that take place, but the way it holds a mirror up to everything Dexter has tried to hide, and everything he can no longer escape. It's not about sudden surprises. It's about the heavy, slow crash of inevitability. That's why episode 9 feels almost perfect. It's not just the story of Dexter Morgan, it's the story of a man trying to pass on his darkest truth to the one person he never wanted to corrupt, his own son. By the time we reach this episode, the world Dexter has built for himself is hanging by threads. He's no longer the invisible predator he once was in Miami, operating under the cover of night while pretending to live a normal life. Instead, he's in Iron Lake, a town that's smaller, quieter, and far less forgiving. Everyone knows everyone. Every move carries weight. At the center of this world stands Harrison, the boy Dexter abandoned years ago, who has now come crashing back into his life. Their relationship is fragile, messy, and full of unanswered questions. Dexter sees in Harrison not just a son, but a reflection of himself, a reflection that terrifies him. For the first time, Dexter has to face the possibility that the darkness inside him isn't just his burden to carry, but something he may have passed down like a curse. Episode 9 builds this tension into something unbearable. Every choice Dexter makes feels like it's being judged not only by his son but by the audience, too. The stakes aren't just about whether Dexter can keep his secret anymore, they're about whether Harrison will accept him or reject him. Whether this bond between father and son will survive the truth, or collapse under the weight of lies. That emotional undercurrent is what makes this episode so powerful. It's not a story about a serial killer hiding in plain sight, it's a story about a father trying to explain himself to a son who might be just like him, and the terrifying reality of what that means. What's brilliant about the setup is how normal everything seems at first. On the surface, it's just another day in Iron Lake, conversations, small-town routines, the usual quiet tension of Dexter trying to blend in. But just beneath that calm, the storm is ready to break. You feel it in the way characters speak to one another, in the way Harrison studies his father, and in the way Dexter tries too hard to stay in control. That's the brilliance of the opening act. It doesn't start with explosions or chaos, but with a quiet sense that something irreversible is about to happen. At its core, episode 9 isn't about action, it's about ideas. The entire episode plays like a debate about morality, inheritance, and the true meaning of family. Dexter has always lived by his code, a set of rules meant to make his darkness useful, even noble, in his mind. Kill only those who deserve it. Protect the innocent. Leave the world a little cleaner than you found it. For years, this code gave Dexter the illusion that he wasn't a monster but a necessary force of balance. In episode 9, that illusion is ripped apart, and it's done through the person who matters most, Harrison. He becomes the voice of every question the audience has asked about Dexter since the very beginning. Is the code really a moral system, or just an excuse? Was Dexter ever doing this for justice, or was it always for himself? The brilliance of the episode lies in letting Harrison confront his father in ways no one else ever could. Harrison sees the same darkness in himself, the same urge to hurt, the same anger boiling beneath the surface. But unlike Dexter, Harrison is still figuring out who he is. He hasn't mastered the art of hiding behind a mask. He doesn't yet know if this darkness will define his life forever. That's why episode 9 becomes such a painful and beautiful exploration of legacy. Can a son escape the shadow of his father, or is he doomed to repeat it? When Dexter tries to explain the code to Harrison, it's not just a father teaching a lesson. It's a man desperately trying to justify decades of violence. He wants Harrison to see the code as salvation, as a way to live with the hunger inside. But the tragic truth is that Dexter isn't saving his son. He's pulling him deeper into the darkness. The episode makes us wonder, is Dexter protecting Harrison, or corrupting him? Is he saving him from chaos, or handing him a new chain to carry for life? The writing shines because there are no easy answers. Harrison pushes back. He questions whether the code is noble or just another cage. He sees the hypocrisy in Dexter's choices, the way he hides behind morality while still taking lives. Their conflict feels painfully human. Dexter's code may be flawed, but without it, he might have been nothing but a monster. Harrison's rejection feels righteous, but also naive. Can someone with darkness inside truly live without rules to contain it? Episode 9 doesn't give us a clean solution, and that's why it resonates. Instead of telling us who is right, it forces us to sit with the discomfort of the question. Can darkness be controlled, or will it always destroy? Can love redeem a life built on lies, or is the truth too heavy to bear? By centering the episode on these themes, the writers ensure it isn't just suspenseful television, it's meaningful storytelling. The pacing is a masterclass. The episode doesn't throw drama at the screen and hope it sticks. Every scene is placed with care, every moment builds on the last, and the tension tightens like a rope. It never wastes time, but it also never rushes. It lets us sit with the characters, feel their choices, and then slowly drags us toward the inevitable end. The structure mirrors the experience of a confession. At first, things move slowly. Dexter explains himself, trying to bring Harrison into his world. For a moment, it almost feels like there might be understanding. But beneath that calm, the cracks are already showing. The rhythm tricks you into thinking things might settle, when in reality, every quiet scene is just another step toward the storm. Supporting characters raise the stakes without ever distracting from the father-son core. Small-town friends, police suspicions, and loose ends from earlier episodes all circle back here, pressing tighter and tighter against Dexter's secret. These threads aren't filler, they're pressure points, reminding us this isn't just a personal drama. Time is running out. As the episode progresses, the pacing shifts. Calm reflection gives way to sharper dialogue and heavier confrontations. Just when you think you have room to breathe, the story twists and tightens again. It's like watching a heartbeat. Slowing, racing, and slowing again, until it's almost unbearable. What's most impressive is how episode 9 connects back to the roots of Dexter's earlier seasons while still feeling fresh. The best episodes of the original series always built slowly, layering suspense until the release felt shocking yet inevitable. Episode 9 recreates that, but adds something new, emotional weight. The tension isn't just about whether Dexter will get caught, it's about whether Dexter and Harrison can survive the truth of who they are. By the time the final moments arrive, every beat feels earned, every step inevitable. That's why episode 9 works so well. It's not just a collection of dramatic moments, it's a carefully built machine, designed to bring Dexter to the edge and make the audience feel every second of it. At the heart of the episode lies the relationship between Dexter and Harrison. Their bond, fragile and uncertain since Harrison returned, finally comes into focus. This isn't just a father and son struggling to connect, it's two people standing on opposite sides of the same mirror, terrified of what they see reflected back. Dexter believes he can manage his darkness by controlling it, shaping it into something that looks like justice. When he looks at Harrison, he wants to believe the boy can do the same. But Dexter's guidance is tainted. His control has always been rooted in lies, secrecy, and violence. The code wasn't about making him good, it was about keeping him from becoming worse. Harrison senses this, and that's what drives the wedge between them. Where others have been fooled by Dexter's charm, Harrison isn't. He sees the cracks, the hypocrisy, the justifications. Yet he isn't just an outsider judging his father, he feels the same pull of darkness. That's what makes their relationship so intense. Harrison wants to believe his father, to trust him, but every explanation of the code sounds less like wisdom and more like a cage. Their exchanges feel less like lessons and more like battle. Less like lessons and more like battles for Harrison's soul. The people of Iron Lake, friends, teachers, neighbors, serve as a reminder of the life Harrison could have if he weren't bound by Dexter's legacy. Their ordinary presence highlights just how out of place the Morgans really are. At the same time, those who inch closer to Dexter's secret only turn up the pressure, forcing father and son into tighter corners.